Scal, how's it going? Happy Scalentine's Day.
Thanks. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
So, how do you feel coming out of Game 1? I listened to some of your commentary after the game. You're not overly fearful of James Harden replicating what he did. I'll paraphrase my takeaway from it from you, and you tell me if I'm wrong. It was more about the Celtics in Game 1. If they lock in, you didn't seem overly concerned. Is that a fair way to characterize it?
Yeah, I mean, I think adjustments, this, that, lineups, all that, like they got to pressure the ball more. I mean, that's the whole point of having this team that's built this way. So you can have multiple guys to throw at James Harden, multiple guys to increase the defensive intensity. And I just didn't think we guarded very well. Now, we shot the ball well. We turned the ball over against the zone. And I know you've always been maybe a little concerned about the zone as the season went along and even now in the postseason. But I just think you got to have more ball pressure. But that game is not going to replicate now that Embiid is back. This is like a whole new team. So there'll be new issues. And, historically, the Celtics have done a good job against the Joel Embiid, mixing up their coverages. But I think now, Philly got to win. But this game is not going to play out like that. It's going to have a much different feel.
I wanted to ask you about this quote from Jaylen Brown after the Game 1 loss. He was talking about transition offense, and he said something along the lines, I have it right here, actually. He says that he didn't have any outlets at one point. He said, nobody's running, and it's a bad possession. You always want to make sure your guys are running with you. Right there, I just felt like I was running by myself. What do you take away from that? Is that Jaylen being frustrated about him trying to set the pace for more of a fast break offense? And is that something that you expect the Celtics to do more of tonight?
Yeah, so he was spot on, by the way. Worst case scenario, as a player, when you have an elite transition player, it's your job to run and fill the corner because you want Jaylen Brown attacking. You want him in transition. He gets fouled. He gets to the free throw line. He puts pressure on the defense. He kicks out for guys for threes. But you have to have an out. If you're the only one going, and we saw this a little bit last year in the NBA Finals, Jaylen Brown's trying to make something happen, which he should because he's a star player. And so you got to, as a teammate, you've got to allow him to have his check off. So if Philly were to put 3 on him at the basket, that means there's going to be someone wide open. And it's a very beneficial thing to do. And he was spot on with that. I think he was more referring to late in the game, not necessarily throughout the game. But late in the game, Jaylen Brown was trying to push the ball, and no one was running with him. And I disagree with that, with guys not running. You can get easy baskets. You can get easy baskets late if you push it and you attack and you draw 2 or 3. You can keep Philadelphia in rotation by doing all those things. So I hope that the Celtics do decide to push. I hope his teammates decide, we got to run with Jaylen Brown when this happens.
Why weren't they? I mean, is that a lack of effort, or was that a disconnect between something in the bench and what was happening on the floor?
No, I mean, whatever their reason, a lot of the players thought they should slow it down. And listen, just because I think they should push it doesn't mean that they should push it. I just happen to not love when they walk the ball up the court. I don't particularly.
And Jaylen agrees with you. I mean, no, it's not. But I'm saying it's not just you. Jaylen agrees, which I think is kind of the interesting piece there.
Yeah, I mean, this is like if my introduction to the NBA was with Jason Kidd, who pushed the ball late in the game when no one pushed the ball late in the game. And I saw him countlessly getting easy baskets at the rim or getting something for his teammates. So it's just the way I believe from what my introduction to the NBA, as well as when I watch this team. I don't think we're good when we're limping to the finish line. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something that they're doing. Maybe the advanced numbers would show it. But the eye test to me shows that when we walk the ball up the court with 5 or 6 minutes to go, it's not a great possession. So why not push the pace? Why not take advantage of having, all these offensive, versatile guys that can shoot it, deck it, move it, cut. They're what makes them good is that. What doesn't make them good is them walking the ball up the court. So I happen to 100% agree with Jaylen Brown, and I hope the Celtics start picking up on that. And even go back to Game 6 in the Atlanta series, they didn't necessarily push it, but they were aggressive. It wasn't like stepping over half court with 16 seconds to go on the shot clock. It was like it had a more aggressive tone. And you've heard me use in this term before. It's like, I don't like when our team plays on our heels. I like us when we're leaning forward, when our shoulders are down, when we're like, looking to attack. It doesn't mean that every shot is a fast break shot in 5 seconds. It just means we're constantly putting pressure on the defense. And we didn't do that late in the game, and I just disagree with us playing that way.
Scal, did Joel Embiid deserve the MVP?
Yeah, I'm surprised that he
over
didn't get
Jokic and Giannis and everybody.
Yeah. I mean, like, if those other guys would have played more, then I would say, I think they played 2 or 3 more games than Embiid. Maybe it's 4 games more than Embiid. But the only thing I disagree with what's going on right now in the MVP race is everyone bashing Jokic for the last 2 years. The guy was unbelievable, and he was unbelievable this year. But guess what? Embiid was more unbelievable. Why that conversation went dark is beyond me. And I actually was like, I'm done talking about the MVP or anything like that. But I think Joel Embiid had a fantastic season, and he 100% deserves it. And guess what? Jokic is a really good player, too. And you're watching the playoff now. This year, people were killing Jokic for his playoff performance. Well, geez, I don't hear anybody throwing him flowers now for what he's done. Like, his team has lost 1 game, and he's like a plus 39 in the playoffs. But, I just disagree with the direction that argument went.
Look, I think it's probably pushing back just on the last 2 MVPs, and should he win 3 in a row where now he's like Larry Bird? I'd imagine that's where it comes from, which is probably unfair. Do you think tonight, Scal, this is a good hokey radio question. I know Mego hates it. I feel like I know how you're going to feel about it too, but I want to ask anyway. Is tonight a must-win for the Celtics?
Absolutely. Must win. Yeah.
Wow.
If you don't win this game, then you're not good. That's it. Like, that's just, that's how, yeah. You can't go down 0-2 at home. It's just, now listen, can you come back from that? Yes, you could do all that. But like this, you can slip up in the NBA, anything can happen. Like the Celtics, okay, here's a good example. And I guess a lot of things could unfold, but their lack of ball pressure was so alarming in game 1. But now let's say they do that again. Now you got an issue. You don't that's not like a slip up. That's like come on guys, let's get it right. Let's get our ball pressure up. And then you go out there and do it because you're capable of doing that. I guess if Embiid goes for 60 tonight and you just have a really tough shooting night and you get wide open shots, and I guess you could say that, but no, you don't go down 0-2 when you're the favorite on a team that everyone thought that you were going to just absolutely smoke. So, today's a must win. Now, it doesn't mean they can't win it. It just means that if you go down 0-2, then I might not be seeing this team the way I thought I see this team. As I told you guys last week, as a favorite to win the championship.
Scal, Steven Silas has been hanging out around Brad Stevens since exiting the Houston Rockets head coaching job. Is he somebody who we might see on the bench with Joe Mazzulla? And I heard Chris Mannix float this out just today or yesterday. Why not add him right now if that's the case?
I mean, I don't know. That's that's a delicate thing. And he's still is he under contract with Rockets, or his contract ran out and they didn't pick him up? So
I think he's still under contract.
Still for 1 more year, or this?
I don't know. I thought he got fired, if I'm not mistaken, which would mean he's still under contract, I think.
Or they just didn't renew it. I don't. You know what? That's almost like too much detail.
They declined to pick up his 4th year option.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so I would say, that could disrupt the thing, but he can also be a consultant. Like, do you guys know that Flip Saunders consulted with us the year we won the championship? So I guess Flip was out, and Flip went to every practice. Like, Doc and him would leave together. They'd go have lunch after practice, after game. Like, he was constantly in Doc's ear during the playoffs, and he was not coaching for the Boston Celtics. So, there might be something like that going on right now. I have no idea if there is or isn't, but I just saw him yesterday, the other day in the parking lot, said hello and told him, I don't know how you coach the Houston Rockets. Those guys are nuts, but I think like getting more voices sometimes is a good thing. Our staff is a little inexperienced for this type of thing. So I was maybe even a little surprised when that whole Ime situation happened that they didn't bring somebody in, but they thought it was enough. And then you lose Damon Stoudemire. So, Yeah, I would definitely think having more ears is not a bad thing.
All right, he's Brian Scalabrine. He joins us each and every Wednesday at 4:30 here on Jones and Mego with Arcand. We call it Scalentine's Day. Scal, thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, see ya.